And we're live. All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Sunny Sanger from MakeSoil. MakeSoil.org is a free tool that matches soil makers, people who compost, with nearby soil supporters, people who contribute their scraps. This gets local communities working together with nature to reverse climate change, while also making the rich soil we need to grow healthy local food for everyone. And today I'm very happy to be joined by Nick and Shannon, who are soil makers in Arvada, Colorado, of Hugelrado Farms. So welcome, Nick, welcome, Shannon, and please, our pleasure. And please, without further ado, tell us a little bit about what you do and why you're doing it.
Yeah, we're in our second year of our permaculture project here in Arvada, Colorado. We decided to take the step and become a market garden, and in that process, we were like, well, we need soil, so we decided to hop on board with MakeSoil.org and join up and start our soil site. We've had it going for about 4 months, and it's been a great addition to the community. We're really, happy to have done it, and it's really a great service,
Yeah, and kind of like why we do it is so we love spending time outdoors. We, have our hands in dirt all the time. Our house is full of house plants. Our yard is full of growing things. And really over the past year or two, we've really dug into the concept of soil health is the foundation of everything else. And you can't have a beautiful garden and grow your own food without healthy soil. And so just in the last couple months, we got hooked up with you guys, and we have people coming to our soil site and dropping off their yard waste and their kitchen scraps. And we've met amazing people, and it's really easy to do. So I've loved every second of it.
Great. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's great to have you as part of the movement. And I'm going to show people a little bit of what you guys are doing. So first of all, this is your soil site on MakeSoil.org. And yeah, let's get it showing nice and big. And I just kind of zoomed out because I like to show people that there's lots of soil sites everywhere, not just in the US, but all over the world. And there's more coming online every day. So I'm just going to zoom in to Arvada. And you guys have 3 soil supporters at the moment, which is a decent number for a neighborhood soil site.
We've gotten to know them just through them coming by and dropping off their soil stuffs. And it's been especially in these COVID times right now, where most of us, at least I am feeling like it's harder to connect with people. We're connecting over building soil and like forming amazing relationships, and it's really cool. And it's easy to do. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah. So you guys pretty much continue to run as usual in terms of your soil site during the whole COVID situation?
Yes. So we have our site, like our drop-off site is a metal stand that's like chained to the tree in our driveway. And we got the MakeSoil poster that you include in like the pack for soil supporters. Got that laminated, put up a quick reminder of what you can and can't include in your donations. And then we have a couple different neighbors. We have some people that I don't think are signed up, but they must have been on a walk or something and seen it. Yeah. They'll just like randomly leave like brown bags full of like banana peels and cilantro and apples and stuff like that. It's really cool. So that is growing more and more. But we're a couple months in and we already have a few people. So
great. Yeah, we'll see some photos of that in a sec. And I wanted to just show your kind of your business, your logo as well, so people can get a sense of how the soil making fits into the whole operation. So just bear with me one sec.
And that's something else where we have been very interested in creating a food forest in our backyard and really learning how to mimic nature. And then when the whole COVID thing happened, really, we were already planning on growing as much food as we could. But then when that happened, we were like, oh boy, we better grow even more. So we went and bought more seeds and traded seeds with people, outreach to our community. I encourage everyone, if you're part of a gardening group on your Facebook page or a permaculture group and you're just getting started, you can actually even just say, hey, I'm looking for free plants. Do you have extras that you need thinned? I mean, I spent a week driving around the greater Denver area, meeting other gardeners and seeing their gardens and collecting plants that they didn't have space for anymore. And it's a very generous community is what I found. In the soil community, in the permaculture community, it's like the spirit is generosity, and that's something I can get behind.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm curious, guys, why Hugelrado, what that means, and also what how do you see this, what we're seeing on screen there? Like, what is that to you? What does it mean to you? Is it a business or is it a project, an organization, and what does it consist of?
It's really a little bit of everything, I mean, it is, ultimately a business. It is a community driver. We're using it as ways to help educate the community and to show the community that this is what you can do in your yard. You can very easily, with not a ton of money, you can turn your property into a producing agricultural project that is regenerating soil and helping with climate change.
And building
food and supplying food to your neighbors.
That was it before we moved in.
Yeah, it was very barren, and Colorado is a high desert technically, so the ground was hard, dry, crusted. We brought in over 20 truckloads of free mulch from our local arborist, and we have already regenerated the soil a pretty large amount. When we started, there was probably about a 6-inch layer of clay on top of the soil. By working in the mulch and everything, we've reduced that drastically in a lot of areas and turned it into workable, usable land.
And now we have topsoil with worms in it. So exciting.
Wow.
And that was the end of last season. So it's a little different.
Yeah, you can really see the difference. It's quite a transformation.
Yes, and then behind that pallet fence is where we do a lot of the food growing. We have 3 pups, so you got to keep them out of the garden.
3 pups and several chickens.
Yes. Anyone that keeps chickens, keep your chickens away from your lettuces because they will eat all of your lettuces in like 20 minutes. Yes.
Great. Well, I wanted to. What can you see your soil site? Like, is it visible within?
In this picture is actually to the right. We kind of keep it next to the chicken coop and behind the garage. So when you first walk in the yard, you actually don't see the chickens or the soil site immediately. You kind of walk towards the back. Then we've got our chicken coop and then like a 4-foot little walkway. That's our drop-off location. People walking by can basically see that pretty easily. And we are on not a major walkway, but a pretty common walkway for a big disc golf park in the neighborhood. Yeah. So it's pretty easy to see and
get a good amount of foot traffic. And we're sandwiched right in between a bunch of apartment complexes. So there's a lot of people that don't have access to doing something like this for themselves. And our city does not offer composting services, so you either have to outreach somebody and pay for a service at the moment, or find somebody like us where you can contribute.
Drop it off.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that. I think it's a really powerful thing you're doing there to have your drop-off station, or some people put their actual soil site, but this is great as well on a place which is visible. And that people walk by. We often like to say at MakeSoil that we're trying to turn composting from a backyard hobby into a front yard movement, where people are doing it together, and you guys are really doing that. So it's really wonderful to see. And so you guys have done your outreach to the neighborhood, and you've got soil supporters. Your existing soil supporters, have they? What's been the kind of ratio between like you going and getting them and recruiting them, or organically just kind of noticing what you're doing and dropping by?
It's probably about 50-50, really.
The people that drop off the small bags, I feel like we have 2 soil supporters who are amazing, and they stop by periodically and just drop off a little kitchen bag. Thank you so much. And then I feel like there's a couple people that have just walked by and seen it and dropped things off. And then the neighbors immediately around us are the ones that we've talked to, and they're actually bringing us like big garbage cans full of like grass clippings, and like they're starting to talk to their neighbors about, hey, did you know, like right over here you can drop off all your compost. So it's, I mean, we're still in the infancy, like as far as this whole endeavor. I feel like we're kind of still a toddler and figuring it out. But
right. Well, I mean, really, we're just getting everything running. I think the next goal is to do a larger community outreach, through some of these things. With the whole COVID thing, we've been kind of laying low, but we're going to start doing a little bit more of a community outreach and either do a mailer or do a door hanger or something, and we can get by or we can put up some laminated posters in the park up on the corner. We're going to start kind of reaching out to people a little bit more.
That's fun. That's one of our soil supporters. She is amazing. You can see her spirit there. And she's one of the ones that brings us that big pan of grass clippings and actually comes back to the compost piles with us and like helps us work in it. And it's really cool. So anybody that's like thinking about it, like when I first heard about MakeSoil, Nick was like, oh my gosh, you gotta check this website out. You can like sign up and people will bring you kitchen scraps. And that blew my mind because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go to every coffee shop everywhere and get all of their espresso waste so that we can start building our compost pile. And so just, through this, I mean, it's not like you just sign up and people appear overnight. You definitely like sign up and then start having conversations with people. But I think that's the beauty of soil building that we've learned just in the past couple months, is that when you engage in these kinds of activities, one, you need more scraps to build more soil, because the soil actually breaks down pretty quickly and you start getting soil out of your scraps pretty quickly, which means that you need other people around you, other kitchens around you to be giving you scraps. So, and people are much warmer and more open when you approach them about this subject than they're like surprised and intrigued, and people have thanked us for what we're doing for our community. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm not sure how to take it yet, but you're welcome, I guess. So it's, I mean, we're having fun. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, no, it's funny that what can start off as kind of a self-interested thing, like you want to grow food or you want to get more scraps to have good soil, it benefits yourselves and also the community and the planet at the same time. And yeah, as this soil supporter shows, you are bringing people together around it. And I wanted to kind of finish with a thought that you talked about before, Shannon, about kind of the climate crisis, the big climate crisis, and the kind of, sometimes it can feel kind of abstract. And I thought you had a really nice insight on that I thought we could share.
Yeah. So essentially, I feel like many of us throughout the world are dealing with, COVID and climate change and economic issues and all this stuff. And it's really, really easy to become overwhelmed and have despair and not feel like there's a hope. But I think, I was listening to a YouTuber out of Canada who has a forest garden on a very small urban lot. And she said, it's not somewhere else that we're going to change the world. It's like in our backyards. It's when every house in our neighborhood is either growing food or, contributing to making soil, stuff like that. And so I think I stopped thinking, when I heard her say that, I stopped thinking like, oh, one day we're going to save up and get a property and then we can do something. No, it's like you don't need much room for a compost pile, and you don't need much room for a couple plants. And so it's here and it's now. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Thank you both for leading the way. It's definitely will be spreading out amongst society, MakeSoil and the broader movement of which MakeSoil is a part. But it only happens by the early efforts of people like yourselves who are seeing it and doing it and making it happen. So I'm sure everyone watching will appreciate it as much as I do. And Let's hope also that you sharing your stories here today can inspire others to take the direct personal action that we're hoping and intending people to take. So in case you're wondering, those watching, what you can do, some things you can do are go to MakeSoil.org and either find a soil site near you or start your own. Share this video on your personal page and any groups that you belong to. If you're a developer and you want to help improve the MakeSoil platform, please contact us, let us know, reach out. And if you can, make a donation of any size to support MakeSoil's work. And thank you all for watching. Thank you, Nick and Shannon, for joining us and sharing your story. Keep making soil, everyone, and we will see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Ellie. Keep making soil, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have a good one.